Hello. We are in for a treat, I think. So, Blake Lively is suing her co star and also producer, Justin Baldoni. And if you've been paying attention to it, either with the news or along with us, we know that Blake is claiming a lot of crazy things in this all. It basically all stems down to harassment, but he would just ask her constantly inappropriate questions, saying certain things that were completely inappropriate. And considering that he was a producer on the film they were doing together, it was just very wrong. She ended up going to Sony Pictures and making requests to have certain things changed in order for her to keep filming. And they did. And her team even said that it went smoothly from that point on. But then she dropped the lawsuit on him. And it's been very interesting these last 48 hours because the news that she was planning on suing and was filing all of this paperwork happened. And then here's a picture of them. And then yesterday, it was everywhere online that Justin's dad, Sam Baldoni, he put out a statement saying that he thinks that the two maybe just were rubbing each other the wrong way and his son's not a bad guy and all this stuff. But none of that is online anymore. Go Google it because I was looking for this and it is gone. So I don't know if the dad made a statement and then hearing that his son was going to be countersuing, they took it down, or if his statement wasn't real and people were just saying that, pushing forward a false narrative. So pretty interesting. But we are going to go ahead and watch a video of the announcement that he is planning on countersuing, and we'll see what he has to say. I did see in one of the captions that his lawyer, obviously they're saying everything that she's claiming is false, and the lawyer said, "You will be shocked when you see what is in our countersuit." So it's going to be interesting. At least we know that. So let me get this queued up. We'll watch together, go over our thoughts on it. Here we go.
You know and love that sound. It's time for Beef of the Week, and this time we're talking about one of the biggest beefs of the year. It is still going. Justin Baldoni versus his former co-star Blake Lively. News Nation's entertainment expert Paula Froelich here to break it down. Paula, the story is not going away.
Ooh.
Now Justin Baldoni is countersuing after you broke last week that Blake Lively was suing him.
Oh, yeah.
What's the latest?
Well, so here's the deal. Blake Lively is technically not suing him. She filed a complaint in the California Civil Rights Board.
Okay.
He is saying, hey, if this was a real thing, you should have actually sued me. So he's saying the word now is that this coming week, he is going to be suing her because he claims she started it. So the timeline of events is a little odd, all right? They started filming the movie. They broke it because of the writer's strike. Then they went back in February. Before they went back, there was a huge meeting with Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and it was a basic HR meeting. They said, listen, here are the things we demand. There were 30 demands.
30? Wow, okay.
30.
All right.
Don't talk about your porn addiction. Your producing partner, Justin Heath, cannot walk in on me while I am getting prepped for a nude scene. During nude scenes, no one else can be on set, including your friends. Like, it was really kind of odd. There was one that you think, well, maybe she said, stop talking about my weight. However, his comeback to that was, I have a bad back. I have to know how much you weigh in order to pick you up. So that one, I'm like, okay. The other ones are just like, whoa, that is dodgy. Now, meanwhile, he took it all in. The last month of filming apparently was fine, and then rumors started coming out. And the rumors were no cast wanted to be with him. Everyone unfollowed him. Ryan Reynolds blocked him, and all this other stuff, and that he was difficult and they didn't get along. That is why he claims he had his own publicist. Now, this is also where it gets dodgy. He had his own publicist, Jennifer Abel, who worked for another woman named Stephanie Jones. Jennifer Abel hooked up with another publicist named Melissa Nathan, who is a crisis manager PR. And that's when Blake got mad, because all of a sudden the public narrative started turning.
I remember.
She's blaming this crisis PR. They're saying they used the dark arts of the internet and all this stuff. So many lawsuits. So Stephanie Jones, you're wondering where because all of a sudden in Blake's civil thing, she basically comes out with all of these text messages.
They're very embarrassing for Justin.
Embarrassing, and people are like, where did she get them? Well, guess what? Stephanie Jones got mad because Jennifer Abel, who used to work for her, and Melissa, she's saying conspired to steal Baldoni as a client. And oh, guess what? Jennifer's husband works for William Morris, which also repped Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and up until recently, Justin Baldoni. So Stephanie took the company phone from Jennifer Abel, got all of the messages, and handed them over. So everyone's like, ooh, that was last week. This week, they're saying Justin's like, enough. You know what? You know who started this? You know why it started? It started because Blake Lively's publicist, a woman I know pretty well, Leslie Stone, started leaking. Leslie is saying, and here is her quote, "After that, I was contacted by various press outlets asking about allegations of HR complaints. When contacted, I responded to press questions by referring them to Wayfair or Sony. It's clear that Mr. Baldoni and his Wayfair associates are suggesting I originated press stories about HR complaints on set, which is false." And I do have to say,
Yeah.
I have known Leslie Sloan for decades, and I believe her.
Okay, that goes a long way. And there's
It
no
does.
doubt this is going into 2025. We can expect more beef between these two.
All year, and I don't expect Justin Baldoni to be working anytime soon.
What about Blake? You think she's unscathed here?
Blake caused her own problems. Blake came off as unlikable in her interviews, and I do think that she is the one who, she can't believe that people didn't like her.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of hate online. Paula Froelich, thank you so much, and be sure to subscribe to the
All right.
newsletter for the
So
biggest
very
stories.
interesting. Hi, Beverly. And thank you. Very interesting stuff. So I don't know if you watched any of the pushback against Blake Lively, but I had watched an interview where she was supposed to be doing a press tour. She sat down for an interview, and she was so beyond rude to this host. And it was like painful to watch. And then the girl who actually was the host was then kind of filling in what was going on, her feelings on it, how uncomfortable it was. And so, yes, Blake was getting a lot of bad press, but a lot of it was from her own doing. I don't know how much of this was really because of Justin. I mean, maybe they were amplifying it some, his PR team that he hired, but maybe not. It will be definitely very interesting to see what his lawyer puts out to everybody. And I don't know if you saw the short that I put out this morning, but leave it to none other than Amber Heard to crawl out of her shell in Italy and make a public statement that she is there and supports Blake, and she knows exactly how this feels, and Johnny hired the same PR team against her when that was already resolved and that didn't happen. But Amber Heard just has to put herself out there. Even so, she's hiding out in Italy. She wants to still somehow be relevant and thought of. So that was her contribution to this. We'll see what ends up happening. It's going to be interesting because there's so many people that worked on this set and so many people that know both of them. And so I think if it goes to trial, which, I mean, for us, it's kind of like, hope they go to trial. It's kind of interesting getting to watch what happens and seeing what is uncovered through this. They were saying that they don't think Justin will work for a long time right now, but I would say I think they're wrong about Blake. I think, yeah, she had PR and maybe she'll be able to push through that, but I don't think so right away. I think the things that were coming out negative, and you have her on video of being just horrible to people, treating them like they're an object and they don't matter. There's no getting rid of that. You can't erase that, and that has nothing to do with Justin. So it will be interesting to see what happens. I also cannot wait to see if Justin's dad, Sam, if he says anything else. Maybe he did put out a statement, and when he found out his son was going to countersue, he scrubbed it from the internet. I don't know, but I am curious now because it is gone from everywhere I looked. What movie is Blake Lively famous for? Oh boy. Well, if you just saw, she was in a cameo with her husband, Ryan Reynolds, in Deadpool. She even wore the Deadpool female outfit to the premiere. She was in another one with, I believe her name's Emily. I'm not going to remember. She has reddish hair. She was in several like B type movies. I'm trying to think of one. I think she was on like Gossip Girl or something like that TV show. Everyone else correct me. I did not watch whatever show that was on. But she was well known enough. And the fact that she is married to Ryan Reynolds means everybody in this industry knows her. And I believe Ryan has his own media company, but then he also owns many different businesses. He's not just an actor. So their foot is in the door in so many of these areas, and people know them really well. So it definitely, if it goes very badly for Blake, it's going to affect Ryan Reynolds as well. So it'll be interesting. If any of you see Beverly's question about what movie is she famous for, help me out, because I can't think of any like really big top ones at the moment that are coming to mind. But yeah, it will be interesting. Although I was going to say, Justin, I don't know him from anything. I had never heard of him until this movie. So it will be interesting to see what happens with their career after this. And also, right now we don't know what damages they're asking for. People were trying to figure out if Blake is actually suing for money or what it is that she wants, because it wasn't stipulated that we've seen yet. But we'll get there. I'm sure it's going to come out. And then it will be interesting to see what Blake goes for, since she's the bigger name, married to another famous person with a lot of money. So who knows what digging he could be doing with that. It's going to be interesting, but we'll just have to keep tabs on it. I will for sure be keeping tabs on if Amber Heard has anything else to say. Yeah, she's just one of those people that she likes to come out and make a big statement, a big impact, and then go back into her shell and then do it again. I think she's trying to get into people's hearts again, if anybody actually had her there. But I don't think it's going to work. I think after the Johnny Depp trial, she is done and over with, and she will not be doing any major TV shows, movies, definitely no more Aquaman. I mean, the petition on Aquaman to have her removed was massive. But then we later found out that she was already being removed from Aquaman because the crowd tested negatively towards her. They didn't like her on-screen presence, and they also thought that Jason Momoa and her had zero chemistry. So she was on her way out the door anyway, but I think that really solidified the rest of her career when it comes to being an actress. He was in Jane the Virgin. Oh. Okay, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it. Do you know any of the movies that Blake was in? If you missed that, Beverly was asking, and I can't think of like a really well-known movie that she was a part of. I mean, she's been around for a long time, but like I said, she got her start in TV. So yeah, she did switch over to movies, but I don't think any like crazy amazing ones, and that's why people are having a hard time placing her. But yeah. All right, this was a good one. I'm hoping to be back on later. There's some trials are starting to announce dates of when they will be starting in the new year. I don't know about you, but I've been like itching to get back to seeing these bigger trials. There was a missing woman in Indiana that has been making news. So if I find enough information on that, I'll probably get into that later tonight. So, all right. Thank you for watching. And if you are on later, I will